Holy shit, it's 2024. Before I continue on, I just want to say Happy New Year, even though I know we're already 10 days in, but still Happy New Year to you all. And I hope you guys had a wonderful and a safe New Year, spending the New Year with your loved ones, your friends, with pretty much anybody you love spending your days with. Happy freaking New Year, guys. With every New Year comes with a shitload of new movies, and 2024 has, as y'all can imagine, a lot of new movies to get excited about. But the strange thing is that even though there are, don't get me wrong, a lot of new movies coming out this year, there's surprisingly not a lot of movies that I'm overly excited about. There's only a select few movies that I'm actually pretty much foaming at the mouth to go see. Really quick before I continue on, in case if you guys notice something different with my audio and my video, I'm trying something new with my video equipment, so if something seems a bit off, I'm experimenting. I'm just hoping it looks and it sounds good, but regardless, let's get back on track, guys. Let's get into my most anticipated movies of 2024. But before I get to my top 5 most anticipated movies of 2024, these 4 movies in particular that, while I may not be overly excited to see these movies like my top 5, I am still very interested in seeing these movies. One of them is called If, which is the newest film by John Krasinski, his latest film that goes away from the horror genre. This looks like that John Krasinski is tapping into his inner Steven Spielberg, and I'm curious to see his concept of people interacting with their ifs, aka imaginary friends. This could be just a fun adventure. Also a movie that could be a very polarizing film called Civil War, a movie made by Alex Garland, who, at least in my personal opinion, makes some very, very good films. Civil War looks like a movie that, if it's done in just the right way with the execution, this could be a great political action film that doesn't do heavy on the politics. But again, this is a movie that could either be very, very good, or it really could be a heavy-handed film. The next movie that I have a lot of interest in is called The Fall Guy, the latest film brought to us by David Leitch, the guy who brought us Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and well, the first John Wick film, and also Bullet Train, a movie that I thought was very, very underrated. The Fall Guy just looks like a fun movie that I believe is coming out either in May or in March, but still, it just looks like a fun action film that I'm really looking forward to. This movie just missed my top 5, and that is Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire. I really dug it. In fact, I quite loved Ghostbusters from 2021. It was a movie that was just a great legacy sequel, and The Frozen Empire just looks like, simply put, a fun time at the movies. It's time to get into my top 5 most anticipated movies of 2024. Let's get it on. Number 5. Kicking things off with my top 5, I have Lisa Frankenstein. This was a movie that I legitimately didn't even hear about it until a couple of days ago, and then the moment I saw this movie's trailer, it hit my number 5 easily. The trailer to this movie essentially, to me, gives out the vibe of an 80s coming-of-age film meets Warm Bodies, but not really a romance film. The reason why I am very excited for this movie is because it is directed by Zelda Williams, the daughter of the late great Robin Williams. I have a lot of optimism for Zelda Williams and showing a brand new and just a creative vision in Hollywood. Very excited to see how Zelda Williams does with her directorial debut. Number 4. Y'all might be shocked when you hear my number 4 spot, but here we go, guys. Coming on to my number 4 spot is Dune Part 2. I absolutely love the first Dune film, and I am so excited to see where Denis Villeneuve takes the journey in Dune Part 2. When I first saw Dune Part 1 in theaters, that movie was essentially like a sensory overload, but in the best way possible. Dune Part 2 looks like it's going to be an absolutely just incredible action war film. I can't wait to see how the romance plays out between Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. I can't wait to see how the character arcs evolve. I can't wait to see, and I can't wait to feel how my senses just overall explode. I imagine from the sensory overload that this movie just might possibly be. Knowing how much Denis Villeneuve absolutely crushed with Dune Part 1 and everything that I've seen from Dune Part 2, I have strong faith and I have a lot of goodwill that Denis Villeneuve will not only stick the landing, but he is going to show why he is easily one of the best, and one of the best sci-fi filmmakers of our generation, but one of the best filmmakers of our generation. I'm ready for what he has described as a cinematic party. Can't wait to have my mind blown once again with this movie. At my number 3 spot is number 3, and that is Deadpool 3. I absolutely love the first Deadpool. Deadpool 2 I thought was absolutely hysterical. Not as good as the first Deadpool, but one that's still the funniest movies to come out of 2018. The MCU, I think we can all agree, has not been as great as it should have been, or great as it should be right now, because here's the thing, guys. Ever since Avengers Endgame came out, I feel like there's only been 3, and I mean 3 great MCU films since Avengers Endgame came out. Guardians Volume 3, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man No Way Home. The other MCU films have either just been very, very good films, or just decent movies. I actually enjoyed Quantumania, and I had a fun time with the Marvels, but even I can admit, those 2 films in particular could have been better, and Thor Love and Thunder, as a guy who enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder, that film could have been a whole lot better. If Deadpool 3 does not work, the MCU is going to be done for. Deadpool 3 has so much potential, knowing that it's the first Deadpool film in the MCU, and given this is a character that breaks the 4th wall, and given this is the first R-rated MCU film, this movie has so much potential to not only call out what the MCU has been doing ever since the events of Avengers Endgame, and I imagine the cameos are going to be absolutely insane, and knowing that Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine, Hugh Jackman wouldn't have come back if the script wasn't great, and if Hugh Jackman came back, I can only imagine the script is not only good, but I imagine the script is great. I have a lot of confidence that Deadpool 3 will be what the MCU needs to get people excited for the MCU again, and that is why Deadpool 3 is my number 3. Number 2! At my number 2 spot, I have Nas Veratu. Robert Eggers has become one of my favorite filmmakers in recent memory. I absolutely love The Witch. The Lighthouse is a movie that I really dug a lot, and The Northman, as you guys all remember, was my favorite movie of 2022. As a matter of fact, that has become one of my favorite movies. If you guys have seen Nas Veratu, like the very original Nas Veratu from the 1920s, you all know how iconic Nas Veratu is. I feel that Robert Eggers' talent as a filmmaker has only gotten better and better over time. I can't even possibly begin to think the amount of pressure Robert Eggers is under to deliver a great remake. But here's the thing, guys. After seeing The Witch, after seeing The Lighthouse, and after seeing The Northman, I have no reservations whatsoever, and I have complete and utter faith that Robert Eggers is going to deliver possibly, hopefully, one of the best remakes ever made. I'm so excited to see how Robert Eggers scares the living fuck out of me this year. Cannot wait for this one. It's number 1. Here we are, everybody, coming on to my number 1 most anticipated movie of 2024. There was a certain movie that came out in 2019 that I absolutely adored to no end, and I did not want a sequel to this movie whatsoever. I thought this particular movie was a very special movie. I mean, a very special film. But then I heard more, and the more I kept hearing about it, the more anticipation rose, and the more my excitement skyrocketed for this film. My number 1 most anticipated movie of 2024 is Joker Folie à Deux. 2019's Joker is a movie that I absolutely adore, and if it wasn't for Avengers Endgame, it would have been my number 1 movie of 2019, but regardless, nonetheless. Joker to me felt like a very special kind of comic book film, where it was the type of comic book film that I never thought I would really see. And then Joker came along and made me just in awe of what I was watching on screen. The concept of this movie is one of the things that got me very excited. And knowing that Todd Phillips is coming back to direct it and also co-write, knowing that Joaquin Phoenix is coming back to star as Arthur Fleck / the Joker, but also knowing, especially, that Lady Gaga was starring as well as Harley fucking Quinn. Joker Folie à Deux is a musical thriller. For those of you who know me very personally, musicals are among my least favorite genre of film, as I don't tend to watch musicals. Given the concept of this movie alone, this movie has so much potential to turn the genre of the musicals and turn it on its head and give us something that we possibly haven't seen a musical before. The moment that I heard this movie was going to be a musical, there is a specific moment, or there's a specific iconic image, I should say, from Joker and Harley Quinn that stood out, and it's this image. I have a feeling, and this could just be me, I have a feeling that this movie could possibly resemble or give off the feeling of that image from the comic. Joker is not only my favorite villain of all time, but he's one of my favorite characters in general. And if this movie does a really cool musical, really cool psychological thriller musical, and that is why, amongst the plethora of other reasons out there, why Joker Folie à Deux is my most anticipated movie of 2024. And that is gonna wrap things up for my top 5 most anticipated movies of 2024. Please comment down, let me know below what are your most anticipated movies of 2024, and also give me a couple of honorable mentions as well. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm also on Twitch. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you enjoyed my top 5 most anticipated films of 2024. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for my latest review goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 reviews, please click right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.